Is a video that explains the two assignments about brainstorming that are going to be right after this video in the module. The first is called squaring, and the second I think of as brainstorming your interests. So we'll take a look at squaring first. So here's the basic idea for squaring. And by the way, to turn in these assignments, probably the easiest way to do it will be to write them out with a pen, just as I've done with this sample example here, and and drop off a picture in the assignment submission box. So I'm aware that might be a little bit of a challenge for some people, but I think it's a good exercise for us to do, just to have a sort of general knowledge of how to take a picture and then turn it in, as an attachment or in a submission box for an assignment. If you want, you can also work these out somehow in a computer file and send that to me as well. So I will leave the submission box wide open as far as file formats. So here we have, as I call it, squaring. The idea of the square comes from the original A, B, C, D. So what you do is choose four topics, A, B, C, and D, at random. They can be interests of yours if you want, or they could just be a random topic of some sort. And just write them in each corner of the square here. So it might be something like, um, you know, fashion, farming. I don't know why I keep coming back to those two, but they're ideas. Politics and dogs, say. Any topics really at all. You could just, go on the internet and find something random, go to Wikipedia, just find something you could theoretically be interested in. Now, the interesting part of the exercise comes from the fact that you will then link together these unrelated topics that you've chosen, A, B, C, and D, and you will find some sort of connection between them just through thinking about them. So, I'm aware that this could seem hard to find a connection between something like, say, I don't know, fashion and dogs. At first, that sounds kind of difficult. But, the point is, again, not to have a super brilliant response here. It's more just to exercise your brain's ability to come up with new connections. So you'll write your original four topics, and then you'll come up with a connecting topic of some sort, or just whatever it makes the two topics make you think about, and write it in here in the AB. Then do the same for B and C. You'll have something written in here that references both B and C, and then write something between C and D and something between A and D. So that's the basic exercise of squaring. So let's move forward to the next exercise, which you'll see is related. There we go. This is what I call brainstorming your interests. So what you'll do here is come up with two topics that you're interested in. And hopefully we all, have a few things that we find interesting and that we kind of follow out there in the world. It can be any two things you're interested in. And then the next phase of the process is, okay, so we have our two interests, and then note down four interesting aspects for each interest. So whatever your first topic is, say it's farming, you're going to come up with four aspects of it that are also interesting. So, it might be land use, dietary habits of the public, fertilization, and animal husbandry. Those are all aspects of farms, right? So note these down for each of the two interests. Then we have our 4 interesting aspects listed for each interest. Now what we want to do is rather similar to the first exercise of squaring. You want to take any 2 of these 4, and you don't have to connect them with a line literally like I've done here, but find a connection between these 2 unexpected, or find an unexpected connection between these 2 aspects, and then write it down. And you'll want to find 3 of these. So in this case, I've chosen to connect 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and 3 and 4, but it can be any order that you want. And again, this is where the interesting part comes in. You'll find your brain giving you some answers to how these 2 things connect that you wouldn't have ordinarily thought of. So then list those 3, and then repeat the process for the second interest down here. And then the last part is what I call the final links. And so this is going even further with the idea of connecting things in unexpected ways. So you're going to take your unexpected connections from each group here and try connecting them. See, so you could connect 3 with 1 here, and then the thought that you have that links these 2 things together, you'll note here. And so you can make 4 of these final links. And this is probably the part of the exercise that will become the most interesting, because there we go. Just because you're being led to connect these 2 interests that theoretically have nothing to do with each other. So you've kind of brainstormed a bit on each interest, and then here in the final step, we link them together. And you'll probably end up with some bizarre but interesting thoughts that connect these 2 interests of yours. So those are the 2 basic assignments that will follow this video. And watch this video again if anything seems unclear. But I just wanted to give us 2 exercises that you could use basically anytime you have a creative project that you need to do. You can do this with, it wouldn't have to be just your interests. It could be aspects of the project. And you could start exploring the unexpected connections between different aspects of a project you're doing for, geography class, say, or for something that's outside of college, something at work, whatever it is. It's just, these are interesting ways to use the brain's natural capabilities of connecting things together, and show you that your brain might be even smarter than you think. All right.